What truly matters as we enter the twilight of life? Have you ever wondered, as wrinkles deepen and silver strands weave into your hair, what truly remains in life? At 81 years old, when I first stepped to the gates of a nursing home, I thought I had unlocked the secrets of old age. But after a year, I realized this journey is full of surprises. Heartwarming moments that soothe the soul, harsh challenges, and profound transformations that completely shift the lens through which I view life. In this video, I will share 7 invaluable lessons I have gathered from my year of living in a nursing home. These lessons will serve as guiding lights, helping you or your loved ones embrace aging with wisdom and serenity. Some may reinforce long-held reflections, while others may challenge your deep-rooted beliefs about growing old. Either way, by the end of this video, you'll gain a deeper understanding of what it truly means to live the final years of life to the fullest. And who knows, you may even discover a fresh perspective on your own future. Stay with me until the very end, as the final lesson has left the most profound impact on me, and it just might change the way you approach your journey through old age. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button now and turn on notifications so you won't miss upcoming videos on the wisdom of aging and the art of living fully. Lesson 1. Loneliness is not fate, but a choice. When I first arrived at the nursing home, loneliness loomed like a ghost, haunting my mind. I had lost my lifelong companion. My children were busy with their own lives, and my old friends were either gone or too far away. I told myself that loneliness was an inevitable part of aging, a burden I had to accept. But after a year of living here, I have come to realize a truth that completely changed my perspective. Loneliness is not a cruel fate. It is a choice. In this place, I have witnessed 2 extremes of life. Some people isolate themselves within the 4 walls of their rooms, waiting for a comforting hand, a shared glance, convinced that the world has forgotten them. But others choose to step beyond the doors of solitude, offering warm smiles, friendly greetings, and immersing themselves in community activities. The difference between these 2 groups is not their circumstances. It is the attitude they choose toward life. I met a remarkable woman named Margaret, who taught me this invaluable lesson. She had no family nearby, no visitors, yet she was one of the happiest people I had ever encountered. Curious, I asked her about her secret to staying so optimistic. She simply smiled and said, "I knock on people's doors. I sit at tables filled with laughter, and I never wait for happiness to find me. I go out and seek it myself." Her words were like a beam of light illuminating my soul. I decided to follow her example. Instead of drowning in the solitude of my room, I started greeting people in the hallways. I joined a card game, even though I hadn't played in years. I listened to everyday stories, family memories, and the unspoken confessions of those around me. And something magical happened. My world suddenly expanded. The more I reached out, the more responses I received. I was no longer just passing time. I was building real connections. I realized that loneliness is not the absence of people. It is a choice to close oneself off. There are always opportunities to talk, to laugh, and to connect, but only if we dare to reach out and take them. So, if you are feeling lonely, ask yourself, are you waiting for someone to come to you, or are you stepping out into the world? Because the truth is, those who only wait will remain lonely forever. But those who dare to open their hearts and take the first step will find friendship, meaning, and even joy. Lesson 2. Health fades when habits disappear. When I first arrived at the nursing home, I was struck by a stark contrast. Some people remained sharp, active, and full of life, while others gradually became sluggish, drained of energy, and disengaged from the world around them. At first, I assumed it was simply a matter of health. Some were naturally stronger, while others were weaker. But over time, I realized that the true difference lay in something else: habits. I met George, a retired teacher nearing 90. Every morning, he woke up at the same time, shaved, dressed neatly, and took a short walk before breakfast. He had a structured routine for reading, socializing, and even exercising. George was always alert, energetic, and mentally sharp. Then, I met others who had no habits at all. They woke up whenever they pleased, skipped meals, spent entire days in their rooms, and let time pass aimlessly. The difference in both physical and mental health between these 2 groups was undeniable. I quickly realized that the human body and mind need structure. Without it, everything slowly begins to decline. When we no longer have a reason to get up, to move, or to engage in activities, our muscles weaken, our minds slow down, and our days lose meaning. I have seen this happen repeatedly, people who were once full of life gradually fading away simply because they had no reason to stay active. So, I made a rule for myself. Every day must have a plan. No matter how I feel, I get up, shower, and get dressed. I set fixed times for meals, for reading, and for light physical activities. I go outside whenever possible, even if just for a few minutes. I make it a point to talk to people at the same time each day to maintain social connections. This is not just about keeping busy, it's about staying engaged with life. Aging is not just a change in the body, it's about how we choose to spend our days. Those who abandon structure often lose their passion for life, while those who create and maintain even simple routines remain sharper, healthier, and more vibrant. I have seen this firsthand, and I can assure you, if you want to stay independent, if you want to feel like yourself for as long as possible, build a habit and stick to it. It may seem small, but over time, it makes all the difference. Lesson 3. Attitude shapes your experience. When I first moved into the nursing home, I believed that the happiest people were the healthiest, the ones who could still move easily, who had frequent visits from loved ones, and who didn't suffer from serious health issues. But I was wrong. Some of the healthiest people I met were also the most miserable. They constantly complained, dwelling on what they had lost. Meanwhile, the happiest people were often those facing the greatest challenges, those in wheelchairs, those struggling with memory issues, those who had lost their closest friends. The difference was in their attitude toward life. I met Eleanor, an 86-year-old woman suffering from severe arthritis, making movement incredibly difficult. She could have easily succumbed to pain, to her limitations, to the unfairness of it all. But instead, every morning, she greeted people with a radiant smile, checked on others, and never missed an opportunity to say a kind word. She told me, happiness is not about what happens to you. It's about how you choose to see things. Her words stayed with me because I had also met people who had far fewer difficulties than she did, yet they were bitter, constantly mourning what they had lost and comparing their current lives to their past glory. The truth is, if you only focus on what you've lost, you will never appreciate what you still have. Aging brings change that is inevitable, but what we choose to focus on is what truly shapes our experience. Every day, I remind myself that I have two choices. 1, dwell on regret for what's gone. 2, fully appreciate what I still have. Which would you choose? I can either complain about my struggles, or I can be grateful for what I can still do. I can let my past define me, or I can cherish the present. I have learned that happiness is not something that naturally happens to us. It's something we actively create and practice every day. Those who age gracefully and fully are not the ones with the best circumstances, but the ones with the most positive mindset. If you wake up each morning expecting the worst, you will only see the worst. But if you wake up and choose to seek out the good in each day, you will find it. It really is that simple. Lesson 4. Independence fades if you let it. When I first moved into nursing home, I noticed a troubling pattern. People who had once been independent gradually gave into dependence. Richard, a strong and self-sufficient man, started asking for help with small tasks, things he had done on his own all his life. At first, it seemed harmless, but within months, he became weaker, lost confidence, and grew reliant on others. The truth is, if you stop using your abilities, you will lose them. I realize that maintaining independence is an active choice. It's easier to ask someone to bring you coffee than stand up and pour it yourself. It's easier to take the elevator than to walk a few steps. But each time you choose the easier path, you lose a little bit of your strength, flexibility, and sense of self. And once lost, it's difficult to regain. So I made a rule for myself. If I can do it, I will do it. Even if it takes longer, even if it's inconvenient, even if it feels unnecessary, I will still do it. I take the stairs when I can. I dress myself every morning. I stand up and move, even when I don't feel like it. This is not about proving anything to anyone. It's about holding on to what I have for as long as possible. Aging does not take away independence all at once. It happens in small moments, in seemingly insignificant decisions. But over weeks, months, and years, they add up. I've seen many people lose their independence without even realizing it, simply because they didn't fight to keep it. So if you are still independent, don't let convenience steal your ability. Move, stretch, lift things, stand up, keep doing whatever you can. Because the moment you stop trying, you start sliding toward a life where you need help with everything. And that is not where you want to be. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, comment 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos. Your support helps us continue sharing meaningful lessons about life and aging. Lesson 5. Small joys make a big difference. As we grow older, our world gradually shrinks. The grand adventures, major milestones, and career achievements that once defined our lives fade into memory. What remains are the everyday moments, the small habits, the simple things that fill our days. After a year of living in a nursing home, I've realized that these small things matter far more than we often think. I have seen people find pure joy in the simplest of things. A warm cup of coffee in the morning, a favorite melody playing somewhere in the background, the feeling of sunlight on their skin while sitting by the window. Take Harold, for example, 82 years old. Every time he receives a piece of his favorite butterscotch candy, his face lights up with happiness. He keeps a small stash in his drawer, always ready to share with anyone who visits. It's a small gesture, something many might overlook. But for Harold, it's a comforting ritual, connection, and happiness. I, too, have learned to appreciate these little moments. The first sip of hot tea in the morning, the sound of birds chirping outside my window, the familiar voices of friends greeting me in the hallway. As life slows down, these small moments become the bright spots in the day. And I've noticed something. Those who cherish and embrace these moments are often the most content. On the other hand, I have also seen those who only focus on what they have lost, the trips they can no longer take, the foods they can no longer enjoy, the things they can no longer do. The more they focus on what's gone, the less they see what remains. And that is when bitterness creeps in, when the days feel empty, when nothing seems to bring joy anymore. The truth about happiness. Happiness doesn't always come from big things. Sometimes it's as simple as a good meal, a warm conversation, or a peaceful moment. When you learn to appreciate these things, life becomes more beautiful no matter where you are, no matter what stage of life you're in. So take a deep breath, look around, notice something small, a sound, a scent, a taste, a feeling that brings you even a tiny bit of joy. Hold on to it, because in the end, life isn't just about the big events, it's about the small joys that make each day worth living. And finally, I sincerely thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. If you found it helpful and meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support me in creating more quality content. Thank you so much.